My husband asked me for a divorce because he didn't want a wife who didn't work, while I was secretly making $500,000. Shortly after, he married my best friend, as if life was all set for them. But what he didn't know was that everything was about to turn against them in ways they never imagined. After not seeing him for a month, John just thrust a divorce lawyer's business card at me without even asking. "Are you okay, or how are you feeling?" he said. "Divorcing a wife who doesn't work? Pay me $1,000 a month as alimony. Sounds good. Take care." John chuckled as he said this, and standing beside him, Emily was wrapping her arm around his, wearing a similar smug expression. "Fine, let's divorce then." I said it so casually that John seemed a bit surprised, but he quickly shared his smile with Emily. Good thing John isn't much of a thinker. It makes my plan easier to execute. After the divorce papers were approved, I decided to start my revenge plan on both of them. I would make them cry as a celebration of my recovery. My name is Sarah Wolf. I'm a 47-year-old illustrator, and I also work as a children's book author. I just love drawing. I have 2 childhood friends, John and Emily. They are important friends to me, and John was also my husband. It all started when John asked me out as I was heading to a different college after high school. I was surprised. I thought he was into Emily, but I couldn't say no to a confession from John, whom I had secretly liked. After some thought and consultation with Emily, I accepted John's proposal. Emily's behavior had been a bit problematic since our teens, but she was still a dear friend to both John and me. However, Emily had a tendency to snatch other people's boyfriends and then dump them once they became obsessed with her, causing problems time and again. Her parents were concerned, so John and I often spent time with her to watch over her. John and I got married when we were 25. 4 years later, Emily brought her fiancé into our lives. His name was George, a professional working for a top-tier company. "Nice to meet you, Sarah. And John. I've heard so much about you. Looking forward to our future together," George said. Very polite. We all got along immediately. We would get together during holidays and vacations, taking trips or going on long train rides to enjoy some drinks. However, things started falling apart after Emily got pregnant 2 years into her marriage. John and I originally had many siblings, so there was no worry about heirs, and we decided we didn't need children. Both of us loved kids, but we weren't keen on actively caring for them. Besides, we loved our freedom to travel and enjoy drinks. We often found it heartwarming to see families with children, but it was never more or less than that. When Emily announced her pregnancy, John's attitude started to change. He quit smoking because Emily said she couldn't stand the smell, and even offered to drive her to doctor's appointments using his vacation days. I warned him, "George might get upset if you're always with Emily." But John argued back, "You have work, don't you? She's our childhood friend, and she's reaching out for help." "You're heartless," I said. "I've been buying things and helping where I can, but going with her to the obstetrician is crossing the line." When I said that, John frowned and glared at me. "Why?" "Because Ellie wants it, right? She says she's anxious about the checkup." "I can't just let her go alone," John said. "If she's anxious, all the more reason for George to go with her." "Right. If you go with her every time, it's almost like you're the father of the baby in her belly." I snapped. "Jealous? You're not going to get pregnant anyway, so what's the problem?" John didn't take my concern seriously, instead started snapping at me, saying I was being annoying. We have hardly ever had a fight during our marriage, but things changed when Emily got pregnant. Our arguments increased, and that didn't change even after Emily gave birth. In fact, John started spending even more time with Emily and their child, Emma. But when Emma was 6, an incident occurred. It had to do with the attendees of Emma's graduation ceremonies. The day before the graduation, John suddenly started rummaging through the closet. "John, what are you doing?" "I have a meeting tomorrow," I asked. John's workplace had a casual dress code, but there was a rule to wear a suit during client meetings, so he always kept a few suits ready. But they were all thrown on the bed now. "Oh, no, just trying to decide what to wear for the graduation ceremony," John replied casually. "What? You're seriously thinking of attending the graduation?" "Yeah." "George can't make it," Emily asked me, he responded. "Wait, that's absurd, no matter how you look at it." I raised my voice in disbelief. John's face turned sour immediately. I knew he occasionally picked Emma up from kindergarten, and I had done so myself when asked. Yet it was nonsensical for a childhood friend who wasn't even a biological parent to attend the graduation ceremony. "You still doubt me and Emily?" "I'm disappointed that you can't even help out," John said. "That's not the point. Anyway, I'm attending the graduation tomorrow, so iron a shirt properly," John said, ending the conversation abruptly and heading to the bedroom. I had no choice but to call Emily. "Hello, Emily. About tomorrow?" Sorry about tomorrow. I'm borrowing John. But won't George be upset about the graduation attendance?" "Sarah, what are you talking about?" "Obviously, I haven't told George that the graduation is tomorrow. I'll tell him after the ceremony." I was shocked to learn that George didn't know about the graduation schedule. Upon further questioning, it seemed that Emily hadn't informed George about any of the kindergarten events so far. And John had been acting as the father at the kindergarten. It made me dizzy with the selfishness of it all. "Wait a minute, Emily. Isn't that extremely unreasonable? It's disrespectful to George just because he's a childhood friend. Hey, what's wrong? Sarah, you're scary. Well, see you tomorrow. Emily hung up on me, leaving me trembling with anger. Still, in the end, I ironed John's shirt, prepared his tie, and the next morning I saw him off to Emma's graduation ceremony. Since then, Emily and John started going out more frequently. From once a month, to once a week, to 3 times a week. Eventually, even George seemed to have some suspicions. One day, while John and Emily were out, George visited our house alone. I'm sorry for visiting you late at night. There's something that's been bothering me, George began. Is it about the 2 of them? I asked. Yes. I'd like you to take a look at this. George showed me the GPS history he had installed in Emily's car. It showed that she had been staying at a hotel 3 times a week. All of those days she was out with John. Just by looking at George's face, I understood what that meant. What do you want to do, George? I want to take revenge on those 2. Me too. I can't forgive them for betraying us after all this time. Now. Comment update to tag you on part 2.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the story, like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out. Share your thoughts in the comments and spread the word to your friends. Stay awesome and see you in the next video.